everyone, welcome back once again. Please like and share the videos that I post, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so for interesting chess related content. So the game I'm gonna show you today is one of the most talked about games in recent times, and it was played by none other than the world chess champion Magnus Carlsen and grandmaster Niemann. I'm not gonna talk about the controversies involved regarding this game, but keeping the controversies aside, this game is indeed very instructive. So here Magnus has the white pieces and he opens with d4, the queen's pawn opening. We have knight to f6, c4, e6, knight c3 and bishop b4, the Nimzo Indian. g3, castles, bishop g2, and now we have d5. It's all theory, and Magnus prepared a3, and surprisingly Hans was also prepared. Bishop takes e3 check, b takes a3 and d takes c4. We have knight f3, and usually white goes knight e5 here, trying to recapture the c4 pawn, and here black's main plan is to attack the center, and he does that. c5, you have castle cd4, queen d4, and now you could trade queens as black, but you are behind in piece development, and that would be an advantageous factor for Magnus. Knight c6, and now queen takes c4. He recaptures the pawn, but demerits are that the c3 pawn and the a3 pawn are weaknesses, although the c3 pawn is much more weak than the a3 pawn, as it can be pushed forward. With e5 now, Hans opens his important light squared bishop, and which would prove to be very useful later in the game. With bishop g5, Magnus tries to get some counterplay by pinning the knight and developing his piece. f6, and now rook fd1 with tempo, attacking the queen. And now Hans plays a brilliant move, which is bishop e6, and this counterattacks Magnus's queen, offering him to go in the endgame, which Magnus accepts. Rook d8, bishop c4, and Hans says, well, your c3 and d3 pawn are weak, and the e2 pawn is attacked. Magnus says, no problem, rook takes a8, bishop takes f6. I'm gonna double your kingside pawns, and I might have a better chances on the king side. G takes f6, king f1, rook d8. You see that Hans is playing for attack on the queen side, whereas Magnus's only hope is the king side. We have king e1 by Magnus. He centralizes his king. We have knight to a5 by Hans. As I said, he is going to play on the queen side. We have rook d1, offering the trade of rooks, which Hans declines, and I think it's reasonable because his pawns are doubled on the king side, and he would not risk going into that endgame. We have knight d2, bishop e6, attacking the c3 pawn, and here Magnus decides to give up this pawn by playing c4. And a bishop takes c4, as you can't take with the knight, your decent pawn will be left unguarded. Bishop c4, knight c4, and rook c4. We have rook d8 check by Magnus, king g7, and bishop d5. He's trying to play on those double pawns and trying to take advantage of them. We have rook c7, as you can't allow rook d7, which would grab the f7 pawn. Rook c7 was a must. Rook a8 now, provoking pushing of the a pawn. a6, rook b8, pressurizing the b pawn. f5, and Hans is trying to push his weaknesses, which is an ideal concept. Rook e8, attacking the e pawn with e4, g4 now. Magnus is trying to remove the f5 pawn from the defense of the e4 pawn. If rook c5, Hans attacks Magnus's bishop. If bishop a2, only square where the bishop would be defended. And knight c4 by Hans. And indeed an interesting move, because if you take, it seems that white is getting back into the game, but he isn't, because knight d6. Yeah, knight d6 at least guarantees winning this pawn, and even this pawn is hanging for. And after rook e4, rook c1, king d2, rook c2, black will be winning a piece with this little trick. We have a4, Magnus defends his a3 pawn, and knight d6 now. We have rook e7 and f takes d4. Hans is now 2 pawns up, but temporarily. Rook d7 by Magnus, and e3, a brilliant move from Hans, and he ruins the pawn structure of Magnus. And you should know that if rook takes d6, there is rook c1, rook d1, rook d1, king d1, and e takes f2. And white can't stop the queening of the f pawn. So after e3, Magnus took, which was the most logical move. Knight e4 now. And for example, if it's black's move, then black would play rook c1 check, and once white blocks with his rook, he's gonna take, king takes, and then he's gonna play knight c3 check, and you could visualize the king is here and the bishop is here, and it would be a knight fork, and black would be winning clearly a piece up. So king f1 was played, a rook c1 check, king g2, and rook c2. Now the e2 pawn will be taken. Bishop takes f7. Rook takes e2 check, king g1. Rook e1 check, king g2, rook e2 check. He repeats once, king g1, and king f6. He moves his king forward, as king is one of the most important factors in the endgame. And it's about time for the king's action. Bishop d5, and now rook d2, pinning the bishop. Rook f7 check, king g6, rook d7. Magnus is only somehow, and Hans plays knight g4, mind-blowing move, and he allows Magnus to play bishop f7 check, but he does not take the bishop and plays king f5. Rook takes d2, knight f3 check, and it's a fork, and he's winning the rook back, and would be up a pawn. King g2, knight d2, a5 now. An ideal concept for Magnus, as he wants to grab all the pawns on the queen side while playing bishop d5, and he has fixed the queen side pawns. King e5, Hans stops bishop d5, king g3 attacking the g4 pawn, and knight f1 check. If king f2 by Magnus, it's 2 e4 now. Magnus sacrifices another pawn, and Hans of course takes that to play bishop e6 and target the queenside pawn from behind. Remember, the king was guarding the e6 square and he took it. King f4, but that doesn't change anything, as now Hans has another trick which guarantees his win. Knight f3, bishop b7, knight e5, bishop a6, knight c6, and now the a pawn is taken as it's been blocked by its own bishop. If bishop b7, knight a5, bishop d5, freezing the knight, but h5, bishop f7, h4, bishop d5, and after playing this, Magnus resigned the game, as after king e5, you have to move the bishop, and then after moving the bishop, the knight would be free to move. So I hope you enjoyed this game. Goodbye.